Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. If Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hello, we are in episode 141, Her Work, Her Worth, Her Impact. And this is a Women's History Month tribute. And of course, when I say her, I'm talking about her in general, but I'm specifically talking about my special guest, Nikki Porcher, who's a veteran, educator, nonprofit founder, and Georgia Labor Commissioner candidate. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm so glad you were here. I definitely had a chance to meet with you and share the stage with you September 2024, where we were at the Race Expo. And so I think you were doing like a live podcast. So that was so much fun. And then I saw you on the Atlanta Black Chambers Tuesday Talks last week. So you're making your rounds for sure, for sure. But you are doing it big. You do a lot. You've done a lot. You're going to do more, I imagine. So just tell us we got time, so you don't have to say it all now, but you tell us more about what you do in general, and then we'll get into more.
Yeah, so my name is Nikki Porcher. As she mentioned, I'm a lot of things to a lot of people. I really just spent my life helping people work and helping them get through and navigate through systems that have been broken. So from the Georgia classroom to helping over 700 small businesses, I'm just making sure that people are seen, heard, and supported.
Yes, for sure. And you've obviously worn so many uniforms. You're a veteran, Air Force veteran, educator, nonprofit founder, and now a candidate. So what's the through line through all this that connects all these chapters of your life?
Purpose. So I knew at a very young age that I was put on the earth for purpose. It took me time to figure out what my purpose was in full transparency. I went to a technical high school and I learned how sewing and how that was my purpose then, right? So I was able to get a job right out of high school. Thought it was going to be my forever job, but I was just a little bit too immature for an adult job at that point. So then I joined the military. Then I found my purpose was in serving with the country. Again, transferred to that. Then my purpose became serving with nonprofits, helping some of our inner city youth. And the purpose became being a full-time mother while going to school. Then the purpose became, being a school teacher, working in more nonprofits. Owning your own organization. The purpose became helping business owners, Black women in particular, to get through there and find their purpose. And now my purpose is just like, okay, if I did all of this, I'm able to use my gifts, my talents, my resources to do this for this community. What's going to be my next purpose? And now it's running for office, running for labor commissioner for the state of Georgia.
That's so cool because you've done so much, so many chapters, and you really don't have to pin yourself down to one type of career or one type of thing. And you're just like, well, what's the next chapter? What's next for me? That's so dope. Well, we can't talk about you or talk to you without talking about Buy from a Black Woman. And that's generated over about $6 million in documented economic impact. So what problem were you determined to solve when you started? And, what resistance did you have to overcome? Because I imagine.
So Buy from a Black Woman came to being in 2015. So a little over 11 years ago. I was at an event here in Atlanta and there were no Black women vendors at this particular event. And I just thought that was just, outrageous because I knew Black women who were business owners or who sold things and they should have been there, but they weren't. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm bored at my job. Let me find something else to do. Let me find another purpose. So I really just started off as a blog where I was buying things from Black women and I would share the item that I bought. More Black women found out about it and they're like, well, how can you buy something from me? Can I give something to you? So this was the start of being an influencer before you knew what it was or that you were on. And then as I started getting that, I learned that, okay, this can be really something big because businesses want to be part of it, but also people wanted to send me money so I can continue what I was doing.
Oh.
And that's how it actually turned into an organization, how we were able to be one of the first organizations to ever give a grant to a Black woman business, to be able to tear down so many walls and have Black women be proud to say Black women businesses and not just women-owned businesses or not just minority-owned, to say they are a Black woman business owner. Partnerships with global companies that people never thought would be possible. Putting Black women businesses in stores that people were like, there's no way that can happen.
For sure.
All this from an idea because I just wanted to help people who look like me.
That is so cool. And you've definitely helped Black women. And I feel like, because I started my business just a couple of years ago, I guess almost 3 years now. And yes, I feel like there's a lot more Black female businesses now. Of course, I wasn't really in 2015 thinking about having my own business. I wouldn't have even imagined. So just you doing that back then just seemed to pave the way. And that's really so cool.
Yeah, and it's crazy because when you look at it, when you're in something, you don't see the impact, right? You don't see how it's growing into different things or how it can branch out to different things. And then sometimes you don't even understand what is happening because you're doing it for the first time. It's something you've never seen done. So you're not even sure how to build it correctly. So then when I'm out of it, and I'm always supporting Black people, Black women, Black businesses. But even when I'm not so hands-on and I'm seeing the disconnect and I'm seeing different things shift, and it's like, okay, there was a reason why I was doing that work. It was needed. There was a purpose for it. And it's unfortunate that there's so many things happening where the same support that Black women businesses were getting years ago is not happening. It's just like when I first started, people told me I was foolish. They said,
of course,
you're going to fail. Nobody's going to support Black women. You should change the name of your organization because that's so loud and so bold and
it's very bold.
Like, so it was all this stuff. And then when it worked, there were so many people who was like, okay, I want to create something like this. And that was amazing because I can only do so much. There's so many different stages when it comes to being a business owner that, okay, this is the group that I'm serving. What happens before or after this group that I'm serving? So it was just more organization, more groups happening. And it was just like, we finally felt like we belonged and we had permission because we saw one person doing it. So then another person would do it. Then you would see that person doing it. Then another person. So it was very beautiful. It was very beautiful. Any Black woman business owner who was in business between 21 and 24 would tell you it was a great time to be a Black woman.
At that point, for sure. And really, that's like right after the aftermath of COVID. So we were all kind of trying to pave our way and do our thing and feel empowered during that time anyway. Yeah. And you talked about that pushback. You know, we do get that when we want to start something new, especially brand new, especially when we want to be bold, buy from a Black woman. How long did it take for you to get over that? And was that actually pushing you down? Was there a point where you're going to give up?
So in the beginning, I was like, I just wanted people to buy from a Black woman. Like that literally was it. I was buying from a Black woman. I wanted people to buy from a Black woman. I was like, well, what should I call this blog? And I was like, well, I just want people to buy from a Black woman. So I'm going to call it Buy from a Black Woman because, you know, the name is the mission and the purpose. And I was kind of weary of it. It wasn't until I had received a phone call. And it was from a man, and I believe he was a white man, but it was from a man. And he said, hey, I found out that you are the owner of this URL. What are you doing with it? So I told him, you know, like what I'm doing. And he said, I would love to buy this off of you. And I was like, oh, let me think about it. Then I blocked him. But it was just the fact that he wanted to buy it. And then I lost my job because of buying from a Black woman.
Really? So, what job did you have at the time?
I was working for a dementia organization. They said it could be a conflict of interest and either I have to stop it or I can no longer work there. So I stopped working there.
You chose your vision and passion. Love it.
So it was those two situations and encounters at the same time that kind of gave me the courage that I didn't know I needed, because it was like, these are these people who are not Black women, who are, you know, in my mind at the time, very successful in their own being. And they're telling me that, one, this is a threat or they want to buy it. I'm not seeing the full picture here. I'm missing out on something. So let me hold on to it. Let me keep going and figuring out where this is going to go, because obviously it's going to be something. Because who calls to say they want to buy a URL? Who says here if you're doing that? There's something going on, and I said, I'll just stick beside it and see what happens. And here we are, 11 years later. Wow.
11 years. That is pure resilience, what you just said, because those two things basically get fired. Like you got to go if you don't drop this, and somebody trying to buy it off of you, probably so that you won't be able to use it because they're not going to use it. And just things like trying to push you up against the wall. But you're like, that's the motivation I needed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And a lot of us are like knocked down from those things. Were you always like that? Was it a point where like that resilience just kind of kicked in, or?
Well, back in the day, they used to call it being stubborn. Just outgoing. My progress report says she talks so much to everybody about everything. So, it was classified as something that was negative growing up, but it was, so at that time I didn't know it was a gift. I didn't know it was purpose. I didn't know that it would help me when I was an adult to be courageous of certain things. So I guess I was. My mother would tell you I was always stubborn. I always wanted to do my own thing. My partner will tell you the same thing. You're going to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So I can say it. So
yes.
That's, who I am. But it's one of those things where I know who my ancestors are. I read lots of books by lots of Black women, and if they're able to write these words down for me to read it, who am I to stop working? Who am I to stop doing the things?
Exactly. Don't knock me down. That stubbornness is key. Of course, there's a lot of aspects in life where being stubborn isn't a good quality. Like probably the success of the stubbornness in your career is probably not the same stubbornness that you need to be successful in a marriage.
Right.
Probably shouldn't be stubborn at all in marriage. But yeah, you need it when it comes to your career and like creating something new and innovative that is going to work. And it worked for sure.
Yeah, it did. I didn't know it was going to work. I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea, but I was like, okay, we ride it. And then more people joined it. More people want to do things with me. More people want to work with me. So I said, oh, well, we all foolish together. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it was very successful. So much so that when I've decided to transition into running for office, and I let the community know, I let the directory owners know, like, this is what's going on, this is what's happening. And I kind of was so hands off, especially after I walked away from the partnership. I had to do my own grieving. I had to do my own thing, right? But I was hands off as far as being an advocate for Black women businesses the way I was. And I was receiving texts and emails and DMs of businesses that had been closing, some who were part of the community, but some who were not. And it was just very heartbreaking to see all these successful Black women not being able to have the same opportunities. And there was one in particular, and I share this story because I want people to understand that nobody can do for you like you do for you. But she sent me an email. She was closing her business, and she sent me an email letting me know that she was very disappointed in me from running for office. She let me know that Black women will not be there for me when I lose. Yes, and that it was just unfortunate that I decided to choose to do something like this that does not value Black women.
So Black women are under the umbrella
again, but it was very heartbreaking. I took it personal. I really took it personal because it was just one of those things where it's like, well, if I would have just stuck out a little longer, would this look like this? Because there's so many things that are happening that I can't speak out on. I can't interject myself in these conversations because I'm in a different space, right? So, but it's like if they don't have somebody advocating for them and what's happening, because it goes back to what I was saying, people see other people doing it, so they do it. So if nobody is doing it, then nobody's going to do it. So it's like one of those things where I battle with that.
Okay. And you said it without saying it. Does it sound like Buy for a Black woman is kind of in the shadows of what you're doing now? It's not kind of doing both anymore?
Well, right now, yes, like the directory is still live. The information is still there. Of course, we're still promoting businesses when we can. We're always choosing Black women business first, but running for office, running for labor commission, you just can't have those mixed bags. And when I win, the labor commissioner job is a full-time job. So it's one of those things where, okay, it'll still live because I'm still going to be paying for the domain and everything in there. But it's one of those things where I have to make sure that I'm serving all people. And I'm going to have to get my capacity to serve all people. But businesses will be part of the Department of Labor under my plan. The businesses who are in Georgia will be part of that. So there'll be resources that I was using in that ecosystem that I could bring over on a greater scale. So I'll still be doing the work. It'll just look different to some people.
Yeah, for sure. And so I've been talking about career a lot on Journey to Joy Live when we started getting this 2016, the career reset, aligning with your joy and your vision and passion and calling. And so for you, like we were saying, it's been different chapters for you. How did that transition come to play where I was all in for Buy From a Black Woman, and then now it's like, oh yeah, Georgia Labor Commission. Where did that transition come in at?
So in 23, we started learning more about the Heritage Foundation. The Fearless Fund was undergoing that lawsuit where they were being sued for helping Black businesses by the Heritage Foundation. So that was a clue. And then when Project 2025 came out, and I really read it, I studied it, I taught classes around it. I learned exactly what might happen, and I was seeing little snippets of that starting to happen, and I was like, I can't afford a lawsuit. Like I'm looking for a drawn out lawsuit. So what will the next chapter be? Because again, my name is Buy From a Black Woman. So one of the first things was, okay, so we will no longer be independent. We'll get a physical sponsor to help cover us and shield us from the public eye. You know, we still can operate as an organization, but we won't be the front of the organization. So just to keep ourselves protected, we did that. And learning that the new administration became the new administration and things were going to change for us. And then things started changing for Buy From a Black Woman, their partners. And it was like, okay, so all of the energy, all of the partners, even some of the people who we were working with before were no longer there because things were changing. So I had to change too. When we walked away from one of our partners, I took time, you know, because it was a grieving, it was a loss. It was, am I making the right decision? Do I do the right thing? But I knew I did, but you don't know what you don't know when you're going through it. And it was like, I had always been toying with the idea that I should run for office. I just didn't know which position. Like, I know I need to run for office. Let me figure out where I belong in this ecosystem. So when I looked, when I studied, when I saw the positions, and I learned that Georgia is one of the 4 states that actually elects their labor commissioner, it's like we have a chance to really do real change in our workforce. We have a chance to do things with our small businesses. They say, you know, Georgia is #1 in business. Georgia is 96% small businesses. So it's like they are the ones who are employing the people of Georgia. Who is protecting and advocating for the workers of Georgia? And it's just like me just transferring what I was doing for Black women into business. To that.
That's what it sounds like. It's not like you're giving up on Black women. It's just like you said, now it's in Georgia, and you focus on everybody, obviously, you know, in that role. But the strength and the stubbornness that you have definitely fits well in politics, because you just can't worry about what people are saying. Just from what you already mentioned, what somebody said, and reading Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, when she was talking about all the pushback, what they're talking about with her and politics, just being a wife. I didn't do this for this, you know, but you got to be strong.
You have to. And I'm being stronger every day, because it's, you know, you get critiqued about things that you don't know that you should be critiqued about, but you can't take it personal because it's coming from people who and see you do good. But then also you're like, but that's just me.
You know, you're still human too.
It's a learning. I'm having a great time. I'm learning a lot. I am toning down some things because, you know, the advocate revolutionary woman always wants to come out, but I have to remember, like, you can't go in here cursing people out, Nikki. Like,
no. Well, can you? And I think about certain individuals in public office.
Then I can't, you know.
We shouldn't. Some people feel like they can get away with it.
Right. But so it's like one of those things. But so yeah, I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning the best analogy is I see why people don't eat hot dogs when you see why and how hot dogs are made. So I'm literally seeing
Mm-hmm.
going on. I understand why people don't mess with it.
Yeah, certain things. And you were saying, I like spending time on like the decision and how you got to different things. Because a lot of people are thinking about, wanting to change and do something. Maybe they want to run for office. Maybe they want to change what they're doing right now. But it's really hard to make that decision. So last year, when you were trying to figure out, is this the right decision? What made you know that, like, yeah, this is it for me?
I just was like, I just made a decision.
You're like, I'm just gonna do it, whether successful.
Okay, we're running for office. I told 10 people I don't want to be embarrassed, so now we're running for office, and
there it is.
That's what we're doing. And the thing is
that
I've learned over the years, especially when it came to buy from a Black woman, ideas are not planted in your head if you can't achieve them. You don't vision something that you're doing if it really cannot be a vision that comes true. And if you're not going to work on it, it's going to go to somebody else. So you have to make, is this what you want to see for yourself, or do you want to see it for somebody else? And I will always tell a business owner, I said, you ever see something and you're saying, I had the same idea, that's because that idea got sick of waiting for you to actually do something with it. So it went somewhere else.
Exactly. So the easy answer, and Nike does not sponsor me at all, is just do it. Because sometimes we're like waiting for a sign. Should I do this? If it comes in your head, you dream it.
That's your sign. That's your sign. That the thought is your sign. You're visualizing. That's, for those who believe in manifestation, you're visually manifesting this idea in your head. I always tell people, I bought a house from an idea I had in my head. Like, we have to really realize how powerful we are when we decide to just do something, and both the good and the bad. I'm learning every day that the bad thoughts I have in my head, I can actually stop those thoughts by just stopping those thoughts.
Oh, that's great, because you are on a mental health podcast. So, wow, just stop the thoughts.
So, it's a practice. Sometimes I forget and I just, go down the rabbit hole. But then sometimes I'm like, well, I don't have to think like that. Anyway, moving on.
Weird. It's like sometimes you want to go down that rabbit hole, because I'm a psychiatrist and I've gone down those dark rabbit holes. The imposter syndrome, the how do I feel like I can do this? Even mommy imposter syndrome, like, I'm not a good mom. It's like, I don't know, for a second there, you just like want to do it. And I'm just like, okay, stop. And like, just erase that. But we all get it. Have you experienced imposter and syndrome type symptoms? Or
yeah, I still do. I had it yesterday, just making sure that, because one, I'm me, and going into certain spaces where I'm not there, going into certain spaces where people like me are not supposed to be. So you do get the imposter syndrome. I'm up against a lot of different things. I'm a Black woman. I'm a dark-skinned Black woman. I'm a Black woman who decided I want my hair to be lavender, and I'm not going to change that. So it's a lot of different things that
I love your hair.
So there's a lot of things that before I even open my mouth, that is going to be used against me. A woman, a Black woman with colorful hair, a dark-skinned Black woman. Like, there's so many other things that are going to be. So it's just like, at this point in life, I'm in my 40s, and at this point, I'm just like, I get why all the women in my 40s, like, you stop caring what other people think. And I'm reaching that. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, but I'm reaching that. I really am.
That's good. Yes. After 40, you just get into your no season, you get into your boldness, and just like, I don't care what you think. I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to show up. And a lot of times that's how you stand out. Like the lavender hair, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm voting for her, So that's really cool. But there's definitely a lot of negative thoughts we might have about ourselves that stops us from doing things. So it's really good that even though you battle that every day, that you are still, doing what you need to do. And that just shows that we all experience it. Like, you showing up all confident, but it's thanks you for being transparent about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, again, letting people see what you're doing so they can do it themselves. Anybody who's watching, listening, just has a thought about running for office, run for office. What's gonna happen? You lose, and then what? You're still where
That's
you
what
are.
I say. Let them say no. Don't tell yourself no.
Yeah, and it's just like we need more women. I know I shared a stat, but the stat has been updated since I've shared it. But there's 151 women running for office in Georgia. I thought it was 145. They reported 145, and then on Monday it went up. So 151 women are running for office in Georgia, and that's the most has ever ran before. Democrat women. Let me correct myself. Democrat women. And it's just when you think about that, one, we're sick of not being represented, and I'm not talking just to women about running for office, but I am talking to women running office. But like, if you're not seeing you there, then be the you there. You know, Dr. Alicia Johnson is the first Black woman who has been elected into a state position, and that was just last year. So there is just no woman has been elected into the position.
Wow.
One has been appointed, but appointed is not the same as being elected. So when I win, not only will I be the second Black woman elected, but I'll be the first Black woman, first woman elected for this. And for women to be such a strong part of the workforce, for Black women to be such a strong part of the workforce, not just in Georgia, but across the state, to have nobody represent us all these years, it shows up. You know, we see results of that for the last 20 years. The same party, the same people who are putting businesses before people have been over the Department of Labor. They've been over the state of Georgia. And we see what that looks like. Aren't we sick of that? Like,
of course we are. But like you said, we want everybody else to do it. We don't want to be the you there, like you said.
So we had to make sure we elect Nikki. We had to make sure that we're electing people who actually represents us, and we actually have to support these people. This is my pitch now, right? So I went to in February, and if I'm talking too much, just stop me, girl.
No.
In February, I actually attended the National Prayer Breakfast for the first time. And I went back and forth because the National Prayer Breakfast is, hosted by the president, but also by a nonpartisan group as well. But the president is part of that. And usually the people who are under the president influence are the ones who attend. So I was going back and forth about if I wanted to go, because I don't know if I wanted to be in a room full of Trump supporters. You know?
Right.
So I went back and forth, had conversations about it, and I went. I ended up going. When I went, people assumed that I was down for them. They assumed I was a Trump supporter. They
really?
That, I was. And then when I told them I was running for office, they were just like, oh, you're running for office. How do I make a donation? They didn't know what I was running for. They didn't know where I was running. They did not care why I was running. They was like, you're in this room. You're one of us. You're running for office. We know if you get in there, you'll take care of us. What do you need? You need donations. Let's give it to you. So it's like one of those things where you see the stark difference between different groups, know, and why different groups operate the different ways that they do, and then why different groups are able to, and I'm not saying this as a shot, but are able to stay in office because there's people who are paying for them to stay in office. They're able to, the Republicans outraise money, the Democrats in this state all the time.
All the time.
It's not right, but they're doing it because they're like, the money is the power and the people
always the money
make the decisions. So it's like one of those things where it's like, please donate. All I have to say, please donate.
I mean,
it takes money for this. I'm running statewide. There's 159 counties in this state that I have to travel through. So it's like one of those things, we have to support our people so that our people can support us.
Yes. And you were telling me before we went live how like you've been traveling over so many counties over Georgia and seeing places you never even seen before. Like I imagine you're learning a lot just from seeing all of Georgia.
Yes, seeing all of Georgia, meeting different Georgians from different backgrounds, from different demographics. It is just so many people have so similar stories, and nobody's talking to each other because we don't know that we have the same stories, and that's intentional. The separation is intentional. So making sure that they know, like, we're all connected. We really are. It's just it's crazy, girl. It's crazy some of the stuff I'm learning.
Oh wow, that is so cool. So when, because you were saying when a lot, that's a positive affirmation. That's definitely what we do and say when we are living our dream or trying to strive towards a calling. When you become labor commissioner of Georgia, what do you plan to do as far as, what sets you apart from the other candidates? Because clearly there's some handful of candidates.
Yes. So you'll hear all the candidates, including myself, say how we have to modernize the system. And that is true. The system is built from 1980s. And if you've ever been unemployment, if you've ever been an employer who had to pay unemployment insurance, even you even use the platform to look for a job, it is very outdated. It needs to be updated. Every candidate has been saying that they are going to update the system, not just in my round of election, of campaigning, but the people before us, the people before them, and the people before them. So it's like it's a problem, but nobody has fixed it. So that is part of the platform. Being a strong advocate for safe workplaces, for fair wages. Georgia's minimum wage is $5.15. The federal minimum wage is $7.25. Yes, I did an exercise.
Did it go down? I feel like it was 7 something.
Well, the federal is $7.25, but state is $5.15.
Okay.
Yeah. And people are like, nobody's getting paid $5.15. There are people who are getting paid $5.15 in 2026.
Yeah.
I did a video, it'll be out later this week, where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and shop as a person who only made $5.15 for 2 weeks. I didn't go to the grocery store. I was in the hole after I paid my rent and paid.
Oh no! And how much was the rent? Like in Atlanta,
depending on where you're living at, it goes from $800 to about $1,700 for 1 bedroom. And just the scenarios I was trying to piece together where it would make sense. So I would need assistance.
Yeah.
The thing is, we have so many working poor people in this state where they're not making enough money to actually live, but they make too much money to, be qualified for some of the programs. So they're just trying to figure it all out. And so advocating for that and making sure that we know like that is happening. The labor commissioner cannot change the minimum wage, but we can advocate for fair wages. There's a lot of unfair and misclassification happening in the workforce. So enforcing those laws. One of my biggest things though is veterans and childcare. So childcare is a workforce issue. If you cannot watch your kid or have somebody watch your kid, you cannot go to work. And there's a story that stays with me, Dr. Joy, where a woman shared that she was looking for a job. And she finally got a job and they said, we want you to start tomorrow. And she did not have somebody to watch her kids. So she literally just put in her Facebook neighborhood group, is there anybody who can watch my kid? I'm supposed to start this job tomorrow. So a neighbor stood up and was like, hey, I'll watch your kid, bring them over. So it worked for a couple of days until one day the neighbor's dog mauled the kid and passed away. And this is why childcare is a workforce issue, because we're not able to provide proper childcare, but then we tell them and threaten them that if they can't start tomorrow, they'll lose a job, and not realizing that is a lot more that goes into that. That's a workforce issue. That's broken systems. That's a part of the state not being able to work for working people. So transportation is another one. A lot of our businesses are in the metro Atlanta area, and that's intentional, and that's because a lot of our leaders who are currently in office are making deals with businesses, with businesses. And like I mentioned before, we have 159 counties across the state. We should be able to spread those businesses that are coming to Georgia across the state. Spreading the businesses, and that transportation issue that we have in Atlanta will be able to help with that. But also with the rural counties, people are leaving them to come to the city, they'll be able to stay in their counties because there'll be jobs for them. So that one. And then veterans, one of my stories is when I got out the military, I couldn't find a job because they did not know how to transfer my military skills to the civilian world. For my son, when he was looking, he actually did trade school his junior and senior year of high school. He got certified. He did all the things that the Department of Labor, the Workforce Development Office, said that he needed to do in order to get a job out of high school, and he still couldn't get a job. So now, he was frustrated and not serving active duty. He's in the Army now.
Mm-hmm.
He's now serving active duty because he could not find a job in Georgia. So
Wow.
veterans understand that there is a person advocating for them. There was a bill that was just passed by Senator Ossoff and Senator Kelly
Mm-hmm.
about the Veteran Fast Act, where you're going to be able to transfer your military skills into civilian skills. So being a person
Good.
is who can advocate and push that bill on the state level. And there's a lot of other things, but I don't want to,
Hey, these are all great. So I'm learning. That's what I'm saying. When I have a guest on here, I always learn so much. So this is good. And when you're talking about the child care issues and the transportation issues, I was thinking about how, when doctors get together, we talk about the social determinants of health. Like we say, like, oh, we got to help this person get their medications, and when they have a flu and when they have depression and things like that. But we forget about things like access and transportation and child care. Parents and patients, whoever you are, they're worried about like trying to feed their kid rather than like try to get somewhere to get their medications, right? And if we take care of those things, they're able to get their help. So in the same way, you're just like, how can a person work if they don't have anyone to watch their kid? It's terrible when you just don't have someone. And what a sad story, but that clearly happens a lot, I can imagine. And not even being able to have the resources to vet out a nanny or something. You just
it's
put your kid to anybody. Yeah.
So many of us are just desperate because we've been out of work so long, or we're trying to figure it out. So when the opportunity comes, we think that's the only opportunity. And a lot of that is intentional. They want to, make us desperate. So then we're depending on the broken systems to try to fix it. But they don't want the systems to work, because if they work, then they wouldn't be able to capitalize on a lot of the things, So it's like, they like, oh, they have a cure for cancer, but then if they solve cancer, they wouldn't be for medical. All that stuff is intentional. So it's like, if you're keeping people who are intentionally making sure that we never get ahead in office, we're never going to get ahead.
Yeah. And you were saying how the minimum wage, you can't particularly change it. You can advocate for it. So who is that at government level? I would imagine, if we're talking
the legislator, like when they're in session, talking to them about the stuff. But it's unfortunate because they ain't making no money either, which is why we have so many of our, that's a whole different conversation. I'm gonna be quiet.
I know we got a lot of whole different conversations, a lot of different digressions for sure. Yeah, and that's why all these small elections we talk about all the time. The small elections are the ones that count, not this main, like, vote for president. If you want your party to win, it's a matter of like the smaller elections. And when is your election, as far as?
Yes, we are. Do you know early voting starts next month? Believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yes. So April 27th, early voting starts in Georgia. The primary date is May 19th. When you go into the booth, make sure that you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see Commissioner of Labor, Nikki Porcher. I'll be in the middle. There'll be 2 opponents ahead of me and 2 under me. I'm right there in that center, Nikki Porcher. Click on it and vote for me. Do not leave the booth until you vote for Labor Commissioner. So just make sure people know that. Like, because when I tell people I'm running for Labor Commissioner, they're like, oh, that's so great. Then they don't know what a Labor Commissioner does. So I tell them they do. Then they don't know that they elect a Labor Commissioner, because so many people stop at the top. When you vote for your governor, you're voting for your Labor Commissioner every time. You have to vote for the governor. You're voting for all those state offices, the lieutenant governor, secretary of state, the agriculture commissioner, the insurance commissioner, the attorney general. You're voting for all those people at the same time. So it's very important.
It's like a whole slate?
Yes.
Like under the party?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a minute.
It's only been 4 years.
Well, that's a minute. You know how much has happened in 4 years. Ballots do not stick, but we're gonna go down to the bottom. This time I'm gonna recognize a name on there, that's for sure. So we're not throwing anybody under the bus, but since I'm talking to you, what do you have that the others don't have?
Well, I'm a Black woman. I'm the only Black woman in the race. There's another woman, but I'm the only Black woman in the race. I'm a mother. I'm a veteran. I am a school teacher. I am a homeowner. I've been unemployed in this state. I've been employed in this state. I've created jobs. I've been able to show people how to navigate this broken system. I am proof that I know what I'm doing. The 700 businesses that I help is proof that I know what I'm doing. The partnerships with the IRS, U.S. Treasury, PayPal, Goldman Sachs, H&M, Poise is proof that I know what I'm doing because I've already done it. I'm not selling you a sad story and why I want to run for office. I have not ran for office and decided to run for office again after losing offices. Like I'm not doing this because I've been doing this job for 35 years and I think I deserve this job. I'm doing this because I want to help us. I'm doing this because I know how to help us. I'm doing this because I am the best advocate that you will have for this position. It's not a vain job. It's not an ego. It's not, I'm just going to work with just this group of people. I am here for all working Georgians because I am a working Georgian.
That's so dope. Not only are you stubborn, you're genuine, authentic, and it just seems like you naturally flow into that. Like, I'm like, oh, just hearing you say all that, it makes sense. You worked all the jobs, so why not help everybody get all the jobs? You know?
That's it. And, we have to just remember, like, when we're electing, you might like this person, but can that person do the job?
Yeah.
You might know this person, but can that person do the job? You're not voting. This is not high school. They're not running for homecoming queen and king. Like, this is serious stuff that we're talking about. And when it's this thing, because so often we do our Black women so bad when it comes to elections. And we talk about who's being electable, who can run. And you're going off a vain description. You're going off just looks. You're going off what you think a politician is supposed to look like. But when I tell you, Black women get the job done. They get the job done. Like, every single time. And we're paying the price for not electing a woman because we didn't like her laugh. You know, poor Texas, they're paying the price because she was too ghetto and too raunchy. Even last time for Stacey Abrams, she's a fat Black woman, we can't vote for her. You put these labels on these people who are putting themselves
on how they look. Yes, but the men don't have to look a certain way.
I'm gonna tell you something, because they don't look good. They don't look good either. They don't look good. But these are women who are saying, you know what? F me. I'm going to put everything out there. I'm going to take all this criticism, all this feedback, all this harassment, because I know I can make it better for other people.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, another thing, women politicians seem to make themselves look more like a man. Like, if you think about it, the short hair, the pantsuits, like the short earrings or no earrings, or those on the news. Like, I'm just like,
and I'm just like, I got red nails. Like, this
you definitely all woman, all lady, and that's great.
Right. It is like, if I'm this comfortable doing this while doing that, imagine what I'll be able to do for you. You know, and then how cool will it be that your labor commissioner has purple hair? Like, that just is so cool to me.
So dope. Now, y'all don't do debates or anything, right? Like, you don't get.
Oh, we have debates, we have forums, we do.
Okay. I need to get into all this. Thank you for coming. Wow, this is awesome. So people can come to this website to donate and what else?
They can donate, sign up to volunteer, be on our email list. We have events popping up. Our next one is with comedian Chanel Ali, happening on Friday, March 27th here in Atlanta. We're calling Laughing for Labor is a comedy show. Come out to that. You know, it's a fundraiser, so of course you'll buy a ticket, but it's going to be a great time. Chanel is not only my personal friend, but she has been on so many comedy shows that I can't even name them all, like Girl Code, The Laugh House, some MTV stuff, some big, like she's been on these places, and she's actually really funny. And I'm not just saying that because I'm her friend. Like, really
Laughing for Labor. That's a cool name too.
So we have that coming up. But then also, if you are like, I really believe in her, I want to make sure she wins, host a fundraiser. You know, get your friends together to donate. If you cannot donate yourself, you can share my posts. You can repost everything that I do. There's so many different ways you still can support this campaign without a donation, even though I want a donation. Even if it's a $5 a month donation, I want a donation. But you also can help amplify. A lot of voters vote because they see the same name over and over and over again. So let's make sure that they always see Nikki Porcher for Labor Commissioner. And then when they go to the polls, they say, Nikki Porcher for Labor Commissioner, and they vote for me.
It's the visual, it's the branding. They have to see it. So I like how you said $5 a month, because not everybody has $45 million a month, you know, like your boy. Oh my God. But Before we go, I ask all my guests about their personal journey to joy. I mean, you've really been talking about all this journey, but really specifically answering the question, how's your personal journey to joy been?
So it's been one of those, it's been rocky, first giving myself permission to have joy, letting myself know I deserve joy, because so often you don't think you deserve something.
Yep.
So it's one of those things, it's a constant reminder. It's not something that I have solved. It's not something that I don't think I will ever solve. I have to constantly be acting into the joy and reminding myself that I'm worthy of it, I deserve it, and it can be mine.
Yes, you're worthy of it and you deserve it. And that goes back to our title, Your Work, Your Worth, and Your Impact. And it's been amazing and it's not ending. So thank you so much, Nikki Porcher, for coming on Journey to Joy Live.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.drenjoylife.com to request a consultation. I'm licensed in 13 states. I accept Aetna in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoy Note to help you on your wellness journey. Also check out Inspire Joy for the wife, mom, boss to help you balance it all without losing yourself. Better yet, get the full Joy bundle for just $45. Remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may you continue to transform stress into joy.